Otumfour. Na ene commission ni na aba ayesi yeba bechia Otumfour. Inti yefemi Jean Mensa, mini chairperson wo Electoral Commission. And the commission members by Dr. Bosman Erika Sari, on any deputy chairman for corporate services. And Mrs. Rebecca Kabuki Ajalo, or your commission member. And I wo Hajia Sadatu Maida, onusu your commission member. And I wo Madam Ajo Abrifa, onusu your commission member. Na Mr. Samuel Tete, only deputy chairman for operations. I wo Mrs. Sylvia Ono, she's the acting director for public affairs. And Dr. Sribo Kweku, only director for electoral services. And I wo Dr. Yao Ofuria J. Inti anape yaba eno yaba. We've come here this morning as a commission and with some of our senior staff to pay homage to Otumfour, Osei Tutu II. We're also here to pay a courtesy call on him. We recognize that we should have been here long ago, and this morning we'd like to sincerely apologize for the delay in visiting with him and coming to pay a courtesy call on him. Indeed, it has been on our agenda for many months, and it was the first highlight of our activities for 2020. I'd like to briefly explain that when we came into office in 2018, we were confronted with organizing a referendum in less than 3 months, and we had to set to work doing that from the scratch. In 2019 as well, we had the district level elections and the referendum before us. So we wanted to come prepared. We had on many occasions, wanted to come and pay a courtesy call on Otumfour, but we were not in the right frame of mind. But we felt that coming to a great king and a great leader, we had to prepare ourselves very well and to come in the right frame of mind. And so we'd like to sincerely apologize that it's taking us this long, but this morning we are here to pay a courtesy call on him, to pay homage to him. We recognize that he's a very, very influential person in this country and beyond the borders of this country. And we have no doubt at all in our minds that with his support and his blessing, this commission will do very well. We have known even from afar that we have his blessing and we have his support. But this morning we are here to formalize it and to receive his blessing and support, and that's why we've come. Bibi Akosuye, as a commission, we are working very well together. The commission members are committed to carrying out our mandate as enshrined in Article 45 and 46 of the Constitution. As you are aware, since we came into office, we held the referendum in 2018 to create 6 additional regions for this country. To the glory of God and with the help of our team all across the country, that referendum went very well. In 2019 also, we were confronted with the second referendum as to whether we should appoint district chief executives or not. And apart from that, we also had to undertake the district level elections. And ahead of that, we conducted a limited registration exercise. And I must say that our team was well prepared and poised all across the country, and all activities went well. We are aware that the referendum, unfortunately, in the end, although we had prepared towards it, did not come on. But so far, all is going well. As a commission, we are committed to building the foundations of the institution. And since taking over office, these are some of the things that we've been doing, putting in place policies and systems and working with firms such as the KPMG to be able to build and strengthen the institution that our predecessors left us with. We are mindful of the good work that they did, but we're also determined to build on that work and to leave a strong institution that functions on sound governance principles. And so to a large extent, that's what we have been doing. We've also been working to build our staff morale. We recognized when we came in that there was a low staff morale, and we've been putting in place systems and policies to address their needs, their conditions of service. We've developed a scheme of service that gives clarity to each staff and gives clarity to their roles and shows them the progression, path that they have. And so we are bringing hope to the commission members and all the staff. Of course, this year we have ahead of us the major elections, the general elections of the presidential and parliamentary elections, and we've committed to, undertaking that. It's important to note that, when we came to office, we were confronted with quite a number of challenges with IT systems. And we refer to those systems, that system, as the biometric voter management system. And I think our major challenge was that that system had been solely controlled and operated by foreign vendors. When we assumed office, we had before us a notification for the award of a contract in the amount of $56 million. And it was to upgrade the systems that we had, the biometric voter management system. But we felt that as much as we would like to strengthen our systems, it was important to undertake some audit, an independent assessment of what our vendors were telling us. And so we invited the biometric consultant that the Commission had used in 2011 when the decision was taken to go biometric. And he spent some time at the Commission, close to 2 weeks, and at the end of the day, he indicated that the systems were indeed obsolete and could not carry the Commission forward. And so he did recommend that instead of going, he looked at the proposals, the financial proposals that the vendors at the time had put before us, and he recommended that rather than going with them, technology had far advanced, and he felt that the prices being quoted were also quite exorbitant. So he did a quick market survey for us, and it came to light that the prices being quoted, what we had been paying, were way higher than market prices. So he advised that because the systems could not support us going forward, we should go in for a tender. And in consultation with the Public Procurement Authority, we then went ahead. I must mention that they gave us two options. One was to do a restricted competitive tender or an open tender, but we chose to do the open tender and advertised in the newspapers. So we are really at the verge of signing a contract with a new vendor. But the difference here is that that vendor would supply and train, extensive training for our staff, and then hand over immediately. So we've spent some considerable amount of time building in-house capacity to enable us receive the training that they would offer us. It's important to note that the buying a new technology or bringing on board a new technology would be saving vis-a-vis what we were being offered for the upgrade by the previous vendor would save this country some $30 million. That is 173 million cedis. If you compare the proposal for upgrade that the previous vendor had put before us and the proposal to procure a brand new solution that is user-friendly, that is robust, that will take us years, we will be saving this nation $173 million if we go with the option of buying a new solution. But in all of it, we were confronted with the issue of the register, because what the assessments revealed was that because the system was obsolete and you were changing and upgrading the whole operating system, if you try to migrate the data, that is the biometric information that was on the database, to a new system, you will lose a lot of data and bring a lot of confusion into this country. Because what it means is that if you are migrating, a lot of people would find their names not on the new database. You will lose so much. And in the end, at the end of the day, there will be a lot of confusion in the country. And so they were of the view that it was risky to do so, and it was not prudent to do so. Secondly, they advised that when they did their audits, they realized that the fingerprint quality was low. And what the result was that we're having a high incidence of manual verification. So as you realize, there's more manual verification, and this could compromise, the credibility of the election. And it was at that point that the commission took the decision that let us compile a brand new register, fresh, that is credible, that is robust, that contains the biometric data of all eligible voters. And that is the main technical reason for which the commission has taken the decision to compile a register. Apart from that, we've had issues with the credibility of the register. Indeed, the Supreme Court in 2016 noted that there were a substantial amount of people who had been registered by the commission using the National Health Identification Card, National Health Card. And they felt that that was not enough, was not a solid proof of citizenship, because foreigners within the country were not barred from using that card. The commission was charged in 2016 to remove the names of those who had used the National Health Card to register. It was an odious task, and as much as we worked hard to do it to a large extent, it was not holistic. And so we have those people who are still within the register, and there's a suspicion that you may have some foreigners on there. Again, Justice Crabb, the late Justice VCRA Crabb, in his report on the register indicated that in 2016 that we had 580,000 dead people on the register. At the time, he said that constituted 4% of the eligible voters on the register, and the margin was twice as much as that of any presidential election. The difference between the winner and the loser, it was 2%, twice as much. And so those are significant figures if you consider the fact that because of the low quality of fingerprints and so on, you have a high incidence. More people are registering using manual. And if care is not taken and we don't exercise prudence at the polling station basis, if you have 36,000 polling stations and people manipulate the system and even vote for people manually twice, 2 per polling station, that number could go as much as 72,000. And that is enough to change who becomes a winner. We are mindful that we've had narrow elections, and we've had in some cases, especially 2008, less than 40,000 people, winning an election. Therefore, if you go to a polling station and you have 100,000 people on that register, or 100 people on that register who are dead or who don't exist, and at the end of the day, if there's quiet, you can just take advantage and vote for a few of them, even if it's 2 per polling station. It's enough and it's significant. And we feel that once, with the technical regions particularly, we don't have an option than to compile a fresh register. At the commission level, we've looked at the timelines. We've done a lot of work on the timelines, and we have the detailed timelines that we'll share with you. But we are confident that this is a system that we've run before. In 2012, a new system was introduced altogether, the biometrics, for the first time. And yet we were able to have successful register and successful elections. We believe that we've tried and tested it, and it's a very simple system, but it has to be done well. And once it's done very well, we can then have the credible register, the basis on which to conduct credible, free, fair, and transparent and peaceful elections in the country. But we do have the timelines. Our elections team, headed by Mr. Tete and the Commission, as well as Dr. Swebo, we've gone back and forth for many weeks looking at the timelines, and there's enough time that has been put out to roll out the system, to test and pilot it nationwide, and then to roll it out. So we are very confident that we'll be able to achieve our objectives of conducting free, fair, and transparent and peaceful elections. So without taking too much time, I would pause here. I'm aware that we